Sabbath 36, Torah portion Qorah, which means bald in Hebrew. From the priestly order, Division 22, Gamul, 1 Chronicles chapter 24, verse 17. From the Torah portion, we have Numbers chapter 16, verse 1 through chapter 18, 32.
Now Korah the son of Azar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, with Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took others, and they rose up before Moses, together with some of the sons of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, those called upon by the assembly, men of renown. Then they assembled together against Moses and Aaron, and said to them, You have gone far enough, for all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and Yahweh is in their midst. So why do you exalt yourselves above the assembly of Yahweh? And Moses heard this and fell on his face, and he spoke to Korah and all his congregation, saying, Tomorrow morning Yahweh will show who is his, and who is holy, and will bring him near to himself, even the one whom he will choose, he will bring near to himself. Do this, take censers for yourselves, Korah and all your congregation, and put fire in them, and lay incense upon them in the presence of Yahweh tomorrow, and the man whom Yahweh chooses shall be the one who is holy. You have gone far enough, you sons of Levi. Then Moses said to Korah, Hear now, you sons of Levi, is it not enough for you that the God of Israel has separated you from the rest of the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to perform the service of the tabernacle of Yahweh, and to stand before the congregation to minister to them, and that he has brought you near, Korah, and all your brothers, sons of Levi, with you? And are you seeking for the priesthood also? Therefore you and all your congregation are gathered together against Yahweh, but as for Aaron, who is he that you grumble against him? Then Moses sent a summons to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, but they said, We will not come up. Is it not enough that you have brought us up out of a land flowing with milk and honey to put us to death in the wilderness, but you would also lord it over us? Indeed, you have not brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor have you given us an inheritance of fields and vineyards. Would you put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. Then Moses became very angry and said to Yahweh, Do not regard their offering. I have not taken a single donkey from them, nor have I done harm to any of them. And Moses said to Korah, You and all your congregation be present before Yahweh tomorrow, both you and they, along with Aaron. And each of you take his firepan and put incense on it, and each of you bring his censer near before Yahweh, 250 firepans, also you and Aaron shall each bring his firepan. So they each took his own censer and put fire on it, and laid incense on it, and they stood at the doorway of the tent of meeting, with Moses and Aaron. Thus Korah assembled all the congregation against them at the doorway of the tent of meeting. And the glory of Yahweh appeared to all the congregation. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, Separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them instantly. But they fell on their faces and said, O God, God of the spirits of all flesh, when one man sins, will you be angry with the entire congregation? Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the congregation, saying, Get back from around the dwellings of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Then Moses arose and went to Dathan and Abiram, with the elders of Israel following him, and he spoke to the congregation, saying, Turn aside now from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing that belongs to them, lest you be swept away in all their sin. So they got back from around the dwellings of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, but Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the doorway of their tents, along with their wives and their sons and their little ones. And Moses said, By this you shall know that Yahweh has sent me to do all these deeds, for this is not from my heart. If these men die the death of all men, or if they suffer the fate of all men, then Yahweh has not sent me. But if Yahweh creates an entirely new thing, and the ground opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that is theirs, and they go down to Sheol alive, then you will know that these men have spurned Yahweh. And it happened that as he finished speaking all these words, the ground that was under them split open, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, and their households, and all the men who belonged to Korah with their possessions. So they and all that belonged to them went down to Sheol alive, and the earth closed over them, and they perished from the midst of the assembly. Then all Israel who were around them fled at their outcry, for they said, "Lest the earth swallow us up." Fire also came forth from Yahweh and consumed the 250 men who were bringing near the incense. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Say to Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, that he shall take up the censers out of the midst of the blaze, and you scatter the burning coals abroad, for they are holy. As for the censers of these men who have sinned at the cost of their lives, make them into hammered sheets for plating of the altar, since they brought them near before Yahweh, and they are holy, and they shall be for a sign to the sons of Israel." So Eleazar the priest took the bronze censers which the men who were burned had brought near, and they hammered them out as a plating for the altar, as a memorial to the sons of Israel, that no outsider who is not of the seed of Aaron should come near to burn incense before Yahweh, so that he will not become like Qorah and his congregation, just as Yahweh had spoken to him by the hand of Moses. But on the next day all the congregation of the sons of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aaron, saying, "You are the ones who have caused the death of the people of Yahweh." It came about, however, when the congregation had assembled against Moses and Aaron, that they turned toward the tent of meeting, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of Yahweh appeared. Then Moses and Aaron came to the front of the tent of meeting, and Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Get away from among this congregation, that I may consume them instantly." Then they fell on their faces. And Moses said to Aaron, "Take your censer and put in it fire from the altar, and lay incense on it. Then bring it quickly to the congregation and make atonement for them, for wrath has gone forth from Yahweh, the plague has begun." Then Aaron took it as Moses had spoken, and ran into the midst of the assembly, for behold, the plague had begun among the people. So he put on the incense and made atonement for the people. And he took his stand between the dead and the living, so that the plague was checked. But those who died by the plague were 14,700, besides those who died on account of Qorah. Then Aaron returned to Moses at the doorway of the tent of meeting, for the plague had been checked. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the sons of Israel, and get from them a rod for each father's household, 12 rods from all their leaders according to their fathers' households. You shall write each name on his rod, and write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi, for there is one rod for the head of each of their fathers' households. You shall then deposit them in the tent of meeting in front of the testimony, where I meet with you. And it will come about that the rod of the man whom I choose will sprout. Thus I will rid myself of the grumblings of the sons of Israel, who are grumbling against you." Moses therefore spoke to the sons of Israel, and all their leaders gave him a rod apiece, for each leader according to their fathers' households, 12 rods, with the rod of Aaron among their rods. So Moses deposited the rods before Yahweh in the tent of the testimony. Now it happened on the next day Moses went into the tent of the testimony, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi had sprouted and put forth buds and produced flowers, and it bore ripe almonds. Moses then brought out all the rods from the presence of Yahweh to all the sons of Israel, and they looked, and each man took his rod. But Yahweh said to Moses, "Put back the rod of Aaron before the testimony to be kept as a sign against the rebels, that you may put an end to their grumblings against me, so that they will not die." Thus Moses did, just as Yahweh had commanded him, so he did. Then the sons of Israel spoke to Moses, saying, "Behold, we are breathing our last breath, we are perishing, we are all perishing. Everyone who comes near to the tabernacle of Yahweh, must die. Are we to breathe our utter last?" So Yahweh said to Aaron, "You and your sons and your father's household with you shall bear the guilt in connection with the sanctuary, and you and your sons with you shall bear the guilt in connection with your priesthood. But bring near with you also your brothers, the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, that they may be joined with you and minister to you, while you and your sons with you are before the tent of the testimony. And they shall thus keep your responsibility and the responsibility of all the tent, but they shall not come near to the furnishings of the sanctuary and the altar, so that neither they nor you will die. And they shall be joined with you and keep the responsibility of the tent of meeting for all the service of the tent, but an outsider may not come near you. So you shall keep the responsibility of the sanctuary and the responsibility of the altar, so that there will no longer be wrath on the sons of Israel. And behold, I myself have taken your brothers the Levites from among the sons of Israel. They are a gift to you, given to Yahweh, to perform the service for the tent of meeting. But you and your sons with you shall keep your priesthood in everything that concerns the altar and inside the veil, and you are to perform service. I am giving you the priesthood as a bestowed service, but the outsider who comes near shall be put to death. Then Yahweh spoke to Aaron, Now behold, I myself have given you the responsibility of my contributions, even all the holy gifts of the sons of Israel I have given them to you as a portion, and to your sons as a perpetual statute. This shall be yours from the most holy gifts reserved from the fire, every offering of theirs, even every grain offering, and every sin offering, and every guilt offering, which they shall render to me, shall be most holy for you and for your sons. As the most holy gifts you shall eat it, every male shall eat it. It shall be holy to you. This also is yours, the contribution from their gift, even all the wave offerings of the sons of Israel. I have given them to you and to your sons and daughters with you as a perpetual statute. Every one of your household who is clean may eat it. All the best of the fresh oil and all the best of the fresh wine and of the grain, the first fruits of those which they give to Yahweh, I give them to you. The first ripe fruits of all that is in their land, which they bring to Yahweh, shall be yours. Every one of your household who is clean may eat it. Every devoted thing in Israel shall be yours. Every first issue of the womb of all flesh, whether man or animal, which they bring near to Yahweh, shall be yours. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man you shall surely redeem, and the firstborn of unclean animals you shall redeem. Now as to their redemption price, from a month old you shall redeem them, by your valuation, 5 shekels in silver, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, which is 20 gerahs. But the firstborn of an ox, or the firstborn of a sheep, or the firstborn of a goat, you shall not redeem, they are holy. You shall splash their blood on the altar, and shall offer up their fat and smoke as an offering by fire, for a soothing aroma to Yahweh. And their meat shall be yours, it shall be yours like the breast of a wave offering, and like the right thigh. All the contributions of the holy gifts, which the sons of Israel raise up to Yahweh, I have given to you and your sons and your daughters with you, as a perpetual statute. It is an everlasting covenant of salt before Yahweh to you and your seed with you. Then Yahweh said to Aaron, You shall have no inheritance in their land, nor own any portion among them. I am your portion and your inheritance among the sons of Israel. Now to the sons of Levi, behold, I have given all the tithe in Israel for an inheritance, in return for their service which they perform, the service of the tent of meeting. And the sons of Israel shall not come near the tent of meeting again, or they will bear sin and die. Only the Levites shall perform the service of the tent of meeting, and they shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations, and among the sons of Israel they shall have no inheritance. For the tithe of the sons of Israel, which they raise up as a contribution offering to Yahweh, I have given to the Levites for an inheritance. Therefore I have said concerning them, they shall have no inheritance among the sons of Israel. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Moreover, you shall speak to the Levites and say to them, When you take from the sons of Israel the tithe which I have given you from them for your inheritance, then you shall raise up a contribution offering from it to Yahweh, a tithe of the tithe. And your contribution offering shall be reckoned to you as the grain from the threshing floor, or the full produce from the wine vat. So you shall also raise up a contribution offering to Yahweh from all your tithes, which you receive from the sons of Israel, and from it you shall give the contribution offering of Yahweh to Aaron the priest. Out of all your gifts you shall raise up every contribution offering due to Yahweh, from all the best of them, the sacred part from them. And you shall say to them, When you have raised up from it the best of it, then the rest shall be accounted to the Levites as the product of the threshing floor and as the product of the wine vat. And you may eat it anywhere, you and your households, for it is your compensation in return for your service in the tent of meeting. And you will bear no sin by reason of it when you have raised up the best of it. But you shall not profane the sacred gifts of the sons of Israel, so that you will not die.
From the prophet portion, we have Prophet Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 11, verse 14 through chapter 12, verse 22. Then Samuel said to the people, "Come and let us go to Gilgal and renew the kingdom there." So all the people went to Gilgal, and they made Saul king before Yahweh in Gilgal. Therefore they also offered sacrifices of peace offerings before Yahweh. And there Saul and all the men of Israel were exceedingly glad. Then Samuel said to all Israel, "Behold, I have listened to your voice and all that you said to me, and I have appointed a king over you. So now here is the king walking before you. But I am old and gray, and behold, my sons are with you. And I have walked before you from my youth even to this day. Here I am, bear witness against me before Yahweh and his anointed. Whose ox have I taken? Or whose donkey have I taken? Or whom have I defrauded? Whom have I oppressed? Or from whose hand have I taken a bribe to blind my eyes with it? I will restore it to you." And they said, "You have not extorted us, or oppressed us, or taken anything from any man's hand." So he said to them, "Yahweh is witness against you, and his anointed is witness this day that you have found nothing in my hand." And they have said, "He is witness." Then Samuel said to the people, "It is Yahweh who appointed Moses and Aaron, and who brought your fathers up from the land of Egypt. So now take your stand, that I may judge you before Yahweh concerning all the righteous acts of Yahweh, which he did for you and your fathers. When Jacob went into Egypt and your fathers cried out to Yahweh, then Yahweh sent Moses and Aaron, who brought your fathers out of Egypt and settled them in this place. But they forgot Yahweh their Elohim. So he sold them into the hand of Sisera, commander of the army of Hazor, and into the hand of the Philistines, and into the hand of the king of Moab, and they fought against them. And they cried out to Yahweh and said, "We have sinned because we have forsaken Yahweh, and have served the Baals and Ashtaroth. But now deliver us from the hands of our enemies, and we will serve you." Then Yahweh sent Jerubbaal, and Bedan, and Jephthah, and Samuel, and he delivered you from the hands of your enemies all around, so that you lived in security. But you saw that Nahash, the king of the sons of Ammon, came against you, and you said to me, "No, but a king shall reign over us, although Yahweh your Elohim was your king." So now behold the king whom you have chosen, whom you have asked for, and behold, Yahweh has set a king over you. If you will fear Yahweh and serve him and listen to his voice, and not rebel against the command of Yahweh, then both you and also the king who reigns over you will follow Yahweh your Elohim. But if you will not listen to the voice of Yahweh, but rebel against the command of Yahweh, then the hand of Yahweh will be against you, as it was against your fathers. Even now take your stand and see this great thing, which Yahweh will do before your eyes. Is it not the wheat harvest today? I will call to Yahweh that he may send thunder and rain. Then you will know and see that your wickedness is great, which you have done in the eyes of Yahweh by asking for yourselves a king. So Samuel called to Yahweh, and Yahweh sent thunder and rain that day. And all the people greatly feared Yahweh and Samuel. Then all the people said to Samuel, "Pray for your servants to Yahweh your Elohim, so that we may not die, for we have added to all our sins this evil by asking for ourselves a king." And Samuel said to the people, "Do not fear, you have committed all this evil. Yet do not turn aside from following Yahweh, but serve Yahweh with all your heart. And you must not turn aside, for then you would go after meaningless things, which cannot profit and cannot deliver, because they are meaningless. For Yahweh will not abandon his people on account of his great name, because Yahweh has been pleased to make you a people for himself." From the Renewed Covenant, we have 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 through 17. But understand this, that in the last days, hard times will come, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, boastful, arrogant, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, hard-hearted, unforgiving, backbiting, without self-control, brutal, hating what is good, treacherous, reckless, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of Elohim, holding to an outward form of godliness but denying its power. Avoid these people, for among these are those who slip into households and deceive weak women, weighed down with sins, led away by various desires, always learning yet never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Just as Jannes and Jambres opposed Moses, so do these people oppose the truth, man corrupted in mind and worthless concerning the faith. But these people will not make any more progress, for their folly, like that of Jannes and Jambres, will be obvious to everyone. You, however, closely followed my teaching, manner of life, purpose, faithfulness, patience, love, perseverance, as well as persecutions and sufferings that happened to me at Antioch, Iconium, and Lystra. What persecutions I endured, and the Lord rescued me from them all. Indeed, all who desire to live a godly life in Messiah Yeshua will be persecuted. But evil men and impostors will go from bad to worse, deceiving and being deceived. You, however, continue in what you have learned and what you have become convinced of. For you know from whom you have learned, and that from childhood you have known the sacred writings that are able to make you wise, leading to salvation through trusting in Messiah Yeshua. All scripture is inspired by Elohim and useful for teaching, for reproof, for restoration, and for training in righteousness, so that the person belonging to Elohim may be capable, fully equipped for every good deed.